Good morning, fourth grade. We've been spending the past 2 weeks reading a variety of articles on YouTube, a really popular site for people of all ages. And our main goal when reading those articles has been to look closely to determine if we find evidence to support that YouTube is mostly good for kids, or if there's some evidence to support that YouTube can be mostly a problem for kids. Now it's time for us to take that information and write an essay. To really help you get your essay on the right track, I'm going to work with you today to show you how I start planning my opinion essay. And what I have here that you're looking at is my BMME plan, where I've got an outline of a box for ideas for my beginning, ideas for my first middle, ideas for my second middle, and ideas for my end. And to help me stay on track, I did at the top of my planner go ahead and write that I'm focusing on Is YouTube Right for You opinion essay. And you can see that I have not yet decided on my opinion of YouTube. I've just set up my planner. I found a really great text on helping kids write persuasive essays or opinion essays. And I've pulled a few of the pages to highlight with you as I work today on my plan. And this page helps me with an idea on how to get started on my opinion essay. It says that many persuasive texts start out with a question. This makes the reader think about what his or her opinion is on the subject. And if the reader doesn't already have an answer, the writer then can present arguments to persuade him or her to agree. I'm going to use that suggestion to go ahead and put a note in my beginning box of my planning sheet. And I'm going to write a question here that I might be able to use as my first sentence in my essay. I went ahead and wrote that question in my beginning. Is YouTube appropriate for kids? That's the topic of the writing of our opinion piece. Is YouTube good for kids or not? I haven't yet stated my opinion, but that's going to help me keep my writing focused. And if I do use this as the first sentence of my essay, it will definitely get my reader's mind on the correct topic. Now I'm going to go back and look at some more hints to help me continue planning my essay. All right, so here I am back at my tips, and I'm looking at tip 2. Now, tip 2 does begin by saying to write your essay, and I am clearly not ready for that yet as I have not finished planning. But I want to read on to get some ideas that will help me in my planning process. And the next sentence says, give it a clear introduction that says what your essay will be about and what your opinion is. Okay, it's time for me to make my choice as to what my opinion is going to be. And I've chosen that for my essay, I'm going to write about the problems that YouTube poses for kids. So I'm going to go back to my plan. And in my beginning, I'm going to go ahead and state that again. Things that I put on my plan help me to stay focused during my writing. And I definitely want to stay focused on my side of the argument, which is that YouTube is that YouTube can present a lot of problems for kids. So this is going to be my side of the argument. I'm writing about how YouTube is a big problem for kids. Now let's go back and look at some more tips to help me get the rest of my planning going. In my plan here, it says, in my tips, it says that next I want to follow this with my main argument and evidence to back this up. Then add your other arguments. All right, I need to come up with my arguments. So the next step in our planning is to come up with our strong arguments. And I've written 2 questions here to help us get our arguments focused. So if you are writing about, like me, that YouTube is mostly bad for kids, you want to be asking yourself this question. What makes YouTube bad for kids? It would be a really excellent idea for you to go to a parent or a family member in your home and talk to them and tell them some of the things you found in your reading that makes YouTube bad for kids. This conversation can help you get your main argument and your other arguments in order. If you're writing about what makes YouTube good for kids, then you want to focus on this question. What is it that makes YouTube good for kids? Speak to someone in your home. Tell them some of the benefits that you found in your reading that makes YouTube good. Having this conversation will make it really easy for you to go to your BMME plan and put your arguments. So after conversing about what makes YouTube bad for kids from my reading, I'm going to put for my first argument, my first middle, that some of the YouTube videos can give dangerous or scary images. Oops. So my first middle is going to focus on this idea that YouTube videos can have dangerous or scary topics and images that are not good for kids. Below this main idea that YouTube videos have dangerous or scary topics and images that are not good for kids, I'm starting a bullet pointed list where I'm going to go back to my notes and I'm going to gather the strongest pieces of evidence about dangerous or scary topics and images in YouTube videos and some ideas I have about why that might be dangerous or scary for kids. While you're working on your plan and your essay at home, keep these tips in mind. You might want to come back to this video and watch this again as you work each day to help you make sure you're staying on track and making your opinion essay really strong. Tip number 3 is to think about how you can affect the reader's feelings so that he or she is more likely to agree with you. Use words that help you connect with the reader, things that make them understand your point of view as you explain your evidence. Number 4, try to use words such as however, therefore, because, and so. These are great transition words that will help to explain the evidence and how it proves your point. Number 5, give your essay a strong conclusion. That's your ending. Suggest again that the reader should agree with you. Number 6, very important, check your spelling and grammar. The reader's more likely to be persuaded if he or she is not distracted by mistakes in your writing. Number 7, type your essay and print it out. Now share it with someone and see if that person agrees with your opinion after finishing reading your essay. We think it'd be a great idea for you to read or deliver your essay to a family member at home and get some feedback as you work. Before I leave you to go ahead and work on planning your persuasive essay, I have one last page I'd like to share with you. You might have to write a persuasive essay in school. Yes, you do. This could be a piece of writing on a topic where you explain what your opinion is and provide examples and evidence to back it up. Well, that's exactly what we're doing. You need to think about what the arguments on the other side might be too. Come up with reasons that show why the other side is wrong. It's important that your essay has a strong conclusion at the end. Okay, we've read about that. So the part that stands out to me on this page and why I wanted to share it with you is because showing the other side of an opinion and explaining why your side is stronger is a really great tool you can use in your in one of your middle paragraphs. So if you're writing that YouTube is mostly good for kids, think about why people might say it's bad for kids and prove them wrong. If you're writing why YouTube is mostly bad for kids, think about what people say is a benefit of YouTube and explain how those benefits don't really outweigh the problems with YouTube for kids. So think about the other side of the argument and using that other side of the argument is a great way to persuade your reader to believe your opinion and is a great tool for you to use in one of your body paragraphs. Good luck with your planning. Make sure you talk it out with someone to work out your ideas before you start your writing piece. And we're looking forward to reading your opinion.